On January 15, 1947, the city of Los Angeles became the epicenter of a horrific discovery that shocked the nation. In a vacant lot in Leimert Park, the body of a young woman named Elizabeth Short was found mutilated, drained of blood, and posed in a way that left investigators and the public equally horrified. Elizabeth Short would soon be known across America as the Black Dahlia, a haunting nickname inspired by her dark hair and signature style of wearing a dahlia flower. But behind the dark allure of her case lies a woman whose tragic end remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. Elizabeth Short was born on July 29, 1924, in Boston, Massachusetts. Raised mostly in Medford, she faced struggles early in life, including her father abandoning the family. As a teenager, Elizabeth suffered from respiratory issues, which led her to spend her winters in Florida for the warmer climate. However, she longed for more than the quiet life back east. In 1946, Elizabeth moved to Los Angeles, hoping to build a life in California, a place she associated with glamour, sunshine, and the Hollywood dreams that captivated many young women of her time. Known for her striking looks and easy charm, she quickly became popular among friends and acquaintances, many of whom remembered her as kind and adventurous. That hopeful life came to a shocking end in January 1947. On the morning of the 15th, a local woman and her young daughter were walking through the neighborhood of Leimert Park when they spotted something lying in the grass. From a distance, it looked like a mannequin, but as they came closer, they realized it was the severed body of a young woman. Elizabeth's body was found in two pieces, carefully arranged, with disturbing mutilations. Her torso was separated just above the waist, her intestines tucked beneath her, and her face was slashed from the corners of her mouth up to her ears in a grotesque Glasgow smile. The absence of blood at the scene suggested she had been murdered elsewhere, and her body was later brought to this desolate location. When the Los Angeles Police Department first arrived at the scene, they were confronted with a crime unlike anything they had ever seen. With her body severed and arranged in such a precise manner, the brutality of Elizabeth Short's murder created immediate public hysteria and an intense pressure for results. Detectives soon faced one of the most complex investigations in their history. The police gathered what clues they could. The presence of the cement sack with traces of blood suggested Elizabeth's body was likely transported. Forensic analysis at the time was limited, and DNA technology wouldn't be available for decades. Instead, detectives relied on examining the few available clues, conducting interviews, and analyzing Elizabeth's recent contacts in the hopes of uncovering her killer. As days turned into weeks, the pressure mounted. Among the 150 suspects interviewed, several became particularly interesting to the police. One of the most prominent was Mark Hansen, a nightclub owner who knew Elizabeth personally and had reportedly let her stay at his house from time to time. Hansen owned an address book that police found among Elizabeth's belongings, and he was known to have a history with her. However, after a thorough investigation, Hansen was ultimately dismissed as a suspect due to a lack of solid evidence. Another compelling suspect was Dr. George Hodel, a well-known physician in Los Angeles with a reputation for unconventional behavior. Decades later, Hodel's own son, Steve Hodel, a retired LAPD detective, would publicly claim his father was Elizabeth's killer, pointing to dark clues in his father's past. Dr. Hodel had knowledge of surgical procedures, and his home contained a basement that some have suggested could have been used in the crime. Steve Hodel's theory gained traction in the true crime community, especially after he presented additional circumstantial evidence against his father. However, no concrete evidence has surfaced to formally link Dr. Hodel to the murder. The challenges facing the LAPD were enormous. The sensational nature of the case attracted widespread media attention, with every new detail being scrutinized by the press and public alike. The constant stream of reporters made it difficult for detectives to conduct investigations quietly, as public interference and pressure increased by the day. Police faced another significant obstacle: false confessions. The Black Dahlia case inspired dozens of people to come forward, claiming responsibility for Elizabeth's murder. Some were merely seeking attention, while others had mental health issues that led them to believe they were involved. Sorting through these confessions wasted valuable police time and resources, causing further delays in identifying a credible suspect. Forensics was also in its early stages. The technology that might have solved the case today, such as DNA profiling, blood spatter analysis, and computer databases, did not exist in 1947. Investigators had to rely on eyewitness testimony, fingerprint analysis, and their own instincts. Unfortunately, without a solid lead, they were left sifting through hundreds of dead ends. The clues they did have, like the cement sack and the neatly severed body, pointed toward a killer who was meticulous and likely skilled in anatomy, but no direct evidence was ever found linking any suspect conclusively to Elizabeth's murder. The LAPD's inability to solve the Black Dahlia case was a blow to their reputation. Determined to find justice, they doubled their efforts, even dedicating 750 investigators at one point. Detectives interviewed more than 150 potential suspects and conducted countless follow-ups on leads that seemed promising but ultimately led nowhere. Every effort to bring the killer to justice only deepened the mystery, as each new theory brought more questions than answers. The case eventually turned cold. Despite exhaustive efforts, detectives were left haunted by the grisly details and elusive nature of Elizabeth's killer. The evidence they had wasn't enough to bring anyone to trial, and Elizabeth's tragic fate slipped into the shadows of unsolved mysteries. In the years since her murder, amateur sleuths, true crime authors, and retired detectives have all tried to solve the Black Dahlia case, delving into every clue and analyzing every theory. Some have come close, but no single theory has provided a definitive answer. The mystery of who brutally ended Elizabeth Short's life remains as dark and enigmatic as ever. As it stands today, the Black Dahlia case is one of America's oldest unsolved murders. A lingering mystery that symbolizes not only the dangerous allure of Hollywood, but also the limitations of justice in the face of profound tragedy. The mystery surrounding Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, has inspired countless books, films, and theories over the decades. Her story has taken on a life of its own, evolving from a tragic murder case into a symbol of the darker side of Hollywood's glamour and the city's underbelly. Books like James Ellroy's The Black Dahlia and adaptations in film and television have kept Elizabeth's story alive, each retelling offering new angles and interpretations. However, with each portrayal, her legacy has sometimes drifted further from the truth of who she was, a young woman with dreams and aspirations, reduced to the allure of a haunting murder mystery. It's important to remember that behind the sensationalism and mystery was a real person. Elizabeth was a daughter, a friend, and someone who, like so many others, sought a better life. She arrived in Los Angeles with hopes of escaping her past and finding a fresh start, only to be met with a fate darker than anything she could have anticipated. Elizabeth's case highlights the perils that young dreamers have faced in Hollywood for decades, where promises of fame and success can often lead to dangerous paths. The unsolved nature of her murder has left us with more questions than answers, but it's her humanity, her vulnerability, that we should remember. Today, the Black Dahlia murder remains one of Los Angeles' most infamous cold cases, a haunting reminder of an investigation that fell short and a life cut tragically short. As investigative techniques evolve, there's always a chance that new insights may one day bring clarity. Until then, the mystery endures, serving as a cautionary tale and a reminder of the fragility of life and dreams under Hollywood's glittering lights.